All right, Nick, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. This whole offseason, we've been talking about teams having, new free agents on the team, having new rookies come into the fold, and really who's going to stand out, who's been really strong so far. But not today with the Steelers. The Steelers, we're going to talk about a guy who's been around the block. He's been on the Steelers, and now he's kind of working his way into being the next big thing. Because when we talk about Steelers pass rushers lately, there's been a lot of big things. You talk about Highsmith, you talk about Watt, most notably recently, and throughout history, they've had a lot of great ones as well. But I think Nick Herbig could be the next big thing for the Steelers. Let's get into the article, and we can talk more about it on the other side. This is from over on Steelers Depot. It says, is Nick Herbig stout enough to survive on the edge at the NFL level? That is the biggest question the Steelers' 2023 fourth round edge rusher faced coming out of college. It wasn't about height or weight or body composition. He also had arms that are shorter than ideal for position. Herbig largely answered the questions consistently throughout the season. However, including the offseason, while he only played a limited number of snaps, he never looked like he didn't belong. Let me rephrase that. He never looked like he didn't belong. He looked like he belonged. At least by performance, he fit in, even if physically you might question it. Brian Bacto says even that is less of a conversation. This year, says my own personal observation from OTAs is that he looks more like an NFL edge rusher now, he wrote yesterday. He also quotes Herbig confirming as much from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Herbig said, I don't want to say I put on weight, but just trying to lean my body out, get rid of all the excess fat and stuff I didn't need last season. Bacto quotes Herbig as saying, however, he also noted that the linebacker told him he's still around 235 to 240 pounds, but is a better composition of that 235 to 240 pounds than he carried last year. So it sounds like Herbig did a lot of work this offseason, got his body right. Now he's looking like the real deal, not just playing like the real deal. But Nick, I'm curious what your thoughts are on all of this information about Herbig, but Steelers fans, in the comment section below. This is kind of a tough question, but there's a lot of answers. Let us know. Who's your favorite Steelers pass rusher of all time? Obviously, Watt is in the forefront. Everyone can talk about that, but there may be some guys throughout history that you really liked as well. Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on the latest info on Herbig?
So I think one of the things we forget about, right, and we talk about it a lot on this channel, is that sometimes media, pundits on TV, fans, a player gets drafted, and whatever he does his rookie year, we kind of think of it's like a Madden video game, right? They are what they are, right? They're never going to get any better. They just kind of, that's it. That's how good they are, and they're going to be that way forever. That's obviously not the case. Players get better, and the biggest leap is from your first year, your rookie year, into your second year. We talk about it all the time at the quarterback position, but other positions are just like that as well. And the fact that Herbig has changed his body composition to be much more muscular, much more powerful, I think is a great sign for this Pittsburgh Steelers. Because when you jump into the analytics, Herbig was a really darn good football player last year, albeit in limited snaps. According to Pro Football Focus, he finished the season with an 80.7 overall defensive grade, a 78.8 run defense grade, and an 81.1 pass rusher grade, right? For those of you who aren't familiar with Pro Football Focus, the way it generally works, anything in the 70s is considered solid, good player. 80s, we're talking Pro Bowler to star. 90s is like MVP Hall of Fame stuff. Like Watt would be in the 90s, right? But you got Herbig right here grading out overall at an 80.7. That's a really good player stuff. Now, the question is, can he maintain that over more snaps? Can he continue this high level of performance with more playing time? Well, the one question that would be to that would be, okay, can he be thick enough? Can he be strong enough? Can he be physically mature enough to handle that load? And he went out this offseason and literally addressed that one concern. So this is a breakout star emerging for this Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I know a lot of people are focused on the quarterback and the offense on Pittsburgh, rightly so. But I think the Steelers, kind of very quietly, they already were one of the better defensive teams in football, already one of the better teams at edge defender in football. I think with the emergence of what we're seeing from Herbig, they're not going to be one of the better teams on defense in football, not one of the better edge teams at football. They're going to be the best. Right. And I think that will allow them to weather some early storms at the quarterback position as they figure it out. Because as good as Russell Wilson or Fields, whoever they go with, probably Wilson is going to be. There's going to be some early hiccups. Everyone understands that. You're going to need your defense early on in the season. And I think the emergence of a guy like Herbig, I think he's set up for a breakout campaign, is just another weapon for the Steelers defense.
Yeah, Nick, and I think this is big for them as well to take that next step because when we talk about Steelers pass rushers, especially the guys that are here right now, TJ Watt, I think he's a phenomenal player. He's probably one of, not if the best pass rusher in the NFL right now. But he does have that Watt gene where they tend to get hurt a good amount during the season. They're never out fully, but they're always banged up. They miss a game here, they miss a game there. Then, as well as Alex Highsmith, he had a groin last season for a little bit. He had a concussion as well later on towards the end of the season. So I think Herbig getting into his prime, coming into this role on his second year on this team, I think it's really important because having that third down or the extra, third pass rusher in the rotation is going to spell these guys somewhat. Highsmith and Watt don't have to be out there 100% of the time. It'll allow them to avoid future injuries a little bit better. But also, if they do go down, you want to have a guy that you're confident in stepping up. I don't think last year, I think, like we said, we're speculating here. Limited play time. There's a lot of questions about Herbig here and there. But he wasn't a guy that if Alex Highsmith goes down last season, were you comfortable with Herbig stepping up and taking over the role and continuing that production? Well, people say, well, I don't know. He kind of has played the part. He doesn't really look the part. I think now you're starting to be much more comfortable. He's looking the part. There's a small sample size of him playing the part. All the pieces are coming together. The Steelers finally have a trio of pass rushers that can be really effective. And throughout history, when they've had that trio of pass rushers, it's been great. When James Harrison was in that role, it was great. I think they had Melvin Ingram at times. They had Golden last year. And when they have three guys that can rush the passer, I think it's a really good time for the Steelers. And it looks like Herbig could be that next guy.